Welcome. It's the Matic. It's the illest blurred in the land. Welcome back to Ill Blur. Matic, welcome back to the community. It's our hardest working blurred on YouTube. Today I'm back with a movie review on Watchmen Chapter One. So, this movie's already been done before in the DCU universe, but this time around, it is an animation movie by Warner Brothers Animation in DC. So the very first thing that I noticed about this movie that was really good about it is the voice acting. Very solid voice acting when it came to the characters within the Watchmen universe. The comedian felt like the comedian. The Owlman felt like Owlman. Rorschach felt like Rorschach, pretty much. Spectra felt like Spectra. All these other characters were spot on with the voice acting. This was very believable, well thought of, well executed. That's what was needed for this. The other thing that I want to talk about that I thought that was really cool with this film was the visuals. The visuals of the animation. It felt very comic bookish. I'm out here on my E40 making words, yo. It felt that way. Like the cell shaded animation really was on spot. And I saw it throughout the movie. I was like, looks really good. This looked better than the Crisis Infinite Earths animation. When it comes down to the movie trilogy that came out, I was like, man, this animation looks really good. And maybe they were going for like a new animation style for that particular set of movies. So maybe that's what it was. But it is noticeable in this movie. And that's how I feel about it. Let's get into the story. So the story is centered around who killed the comedian. This vigilante / hero. And I think the thing that really was something that really worked with this film was learning about who the comedian was. We just weren't like, hey, who killed the comedian? And Rorschach just figuring it out. We learned about the relationships he had with these other vigilantes turned heroes. We see him work with certain people. People didn't. He was loved. He was hated. And he was also the oldest member of the actual group. And I love that they kind of explored the original group, the Minutemen. That's what they were called. And his relationship with them. People knew of him, but was he liked by everybody? No, he wasn't. Because the type of character he was. His morality, we see. He may have done some pretty crooked, nasty things, but he also, at some point, did good things. He was fighting for his country. In a patriotic way, right? To some degree. And that's what works with this movie. It's like, okay, we learned about this character, but also we learned about Rorschach talking to his colleagues to figure out that this wasn't just a typical murder. Someone had it out for the comedian because he was hated by people too. He had more enemies than he had people that really loved him as a character. And that works. The other thing that I want to say that works with this movie is pretty much the theme. This is not a kids movie whatsoever. There are certain themes that are explored in this movie, and I'm like, this is not a kids movie. This is a rated R movie. And some of the elements of it is explored. There's a scene where Rorschach goes to this guy that may have known who could have killed the comedian. And he pretty much interrogates him by pretty much using drugs. The other thing is there's a scene with Spectra and Dr. Manhattan. And we see their relationship a little bit on a sexual level. Very interesting. The other thing that I thought that was well explored in this movie, and I feel like this may have not been explored in the original Watchmen movie, is Dr. Manhattan's story. We see that he is in this love triangle, and pretty much he eventually has to let go of one of his lovers. And the other lover is someone that he pretty much had feelings for and was cheating on. You know what I'm saying? Because he was married to the other woman, and we see his relationship fall apart, and Dr. Manhattan kind of losing it. You know what I'm saying? When he's interviewed in this movie. The other thing that I found that was interesting in this movie, and I'm not really for sure, like, is this an Easter egg? If someone knows, let me know in the comments, where there's another comic introduced into this movie that feels like an Easter egg for the movie, and I'm like, is this an Easter egg? Or is this referring to like another spin-off of Watchmen, but like maybe like in another like time period? I don't know. But I did notice that. The other thing was pretty much learning about the two groups, the Minutemen, some of their earlier era, before they became the Watchmen, and like I said, the first and second generation Owlman, and also Spectra as well. We learn about Spectra's mother's story, but also we learn about Owlman and his relationship with the previous Owlman. Now, let's get into the things that I didn't necessarily like about this movie, and then I'm going to go to my rating after that. The first thing, I felt like this movie was extremely too short. 80 minutes, DC, 80 minutes. DC and Warner Brothers Animation, when are you guys going to make 1 hour movies? I felt like this movie could have been a 1 hour movie, or at least an hour and 30 minutes or hour and 45 minutes. That was something that I felt like was missing. And maybe because this is going to be explored into other chapters, like maybe a trilogy just like the previous animated movies. But this is a bit of a problem because I feel like this is not enough. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to their movies being like this, I feel like they could do a bit more with it if they were a bit much longer, but they're not doing that. Now, the other problem with this movie, it is a bit recycled. I mean, I know a lot of you are like, Ilblurman, why are you saying that? Because we've already seen this movie from the 2009 version. That is a problem too, because like that was a longer movie, and I felt like Zack Snyder did a really good job when it came to that movie. It was a 3-hour movie. You know what I'm saying? So it was a very long movie, but it explored a lot more. And I feel like this movie may have been better if they, like I said, would have stretched it a bit more. But let's get into my rating for this movie. Watchmen Chapter One would have to be an A-. I really enjoyed the movie. I like what they explored with the movie. Also, I forgot to mention one thing: the character morality, how these characters are perceived by humans within society too. But it is a blur. Then, where guys, have you seen Watchmen Chapter One? And what would you rate it? It's a blur. Then, where guys, thank you so much for commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing the video. Blur of the year, and I'm out, legends.